Hey guys, anybody here? Anybody there? Anyone wants to listen to my flat talk? Flat talk, because the earth is flat. Ancients have known this all along. You know, the ball earth theory is just about, 250 years old, and it's a globe. The word globe comes actually from a Dutch root or a German root word which refers to Glaube, which means belief. So anyone who believes in a globe doesn't know that the earth is actually flat. It's a belief, a false belief based of a deception, a visual deception, that when you look out at the horizon, you're at the beach, you're standing at the beach, you're looking out at the horizon, it looks like ships are going around a ball. It's an illusion, a visual illusion, because of distance and perspective. And people cannot understand somehow how perspective works. I don't know why, but it's the most basic thing, that things that are above your head and they go away from you, they decrease in altitude, not in actual reality, but to your perception. So people have to make a distinction between their perception and reality. So there is reality out there in the way we perceive it, and it comes with an illusion because of distances. So anything that is below your feet, the further it goes away, just like a road, it will seem like it's rising up in altitude, but in truth it doesn't do this. Except you're standing at a road that goes up a mountain, but we're talking about a flat road. So that road will look like it's moving up to the horizon, although in truth it doesn't do this. So there is already an illusion because of distance. So anything that goes further away from your eye is becoming more elusive. And then objects like the sun or airplanes, if you don't believe, for example, that the sun has a level above us and is just keeping its level and turning above Earth, then take airplanes, because you know that they keep a certain level in the sky, commercial airplanes like 10 kilometers in the air, and they keep their level and they fly above your head, straight over your head, and once they get away from that position and they fly close to the horizon, they decrease in altitude. They fall down. It looks like they're falling down, but nobody is going, hey, watch that airplane, it's coming down, let's call 911, let's call the emergency. Nobody, because everybody knows, okay, that airplane is just keeping its level, it's not falling down, it's not setting. And the same with the sun. When we call it sunset, it's just to our perception, it's not in reality. In reality, the sun doesn't set, the sun just keeps its level. But to us, since we're stuck basically to one geo point, we're living in a town, we don't change the position, we don't run after the sun, we don't fly after the sun, so the sun goes very, very far away and it looks like it's setting. Or for the morning, it looks like it's rising. Very simple. So perspective is all the magic, sort of, that creates this whole illusion. So do you believe that the earth is flat? Some people believe, they have to believe it at first until they know. Before you know something, there is always belief. For example, you believe You're at a harbor and you have a sailboat and you believe that there's land out there beyond the horizon. Then the only way you know if there's land or not is by going there. So when I, for example, say I know that the earth is flat, is because now I know it, but before I had to believe it. You see? And that's something that people must understand, that it's possible to know that the earth is flat. It's not just a belief. But I get that out there, people are out there and they have to believe first because they don't have a lot of knowledge, they didn't gather a lot of information on it. And there are different people in this world, so not everybody knows. But I'm sure that your politicians, the ones you see on TV, all of these people, they are in the know. They know that's the truth. They just let the people, the masses, live in this illusion of living on a ball in this fairy tale. Why? Because lies, if people live in illusions and lies, they are weak. It's very simple. You can control them. You can add to the lie. You can add flying to the moon now. Once you have a ball Earth, once you have a heliocentric model, you can change up the whole physics of reality. You can now fly to the moon. You can then go to Mars. You can then let aliens come in, and you can create this whole illusion of world and control people with that. You see? It's a fabricated story. And you can tie in politics into this whole story, where you want to move people, you know. I don't know, if you want to move people from buying fueled cars, or what are they called, when you fuel them with gas and oil, the normal cars that we had, and you want to make them buy electrical cars, you create a whole story to make people move their purchases, the way they purchase, you see. And a similar thing happens with this whole ball earth illusion, because they can just add up stories to this whole thing and move people around, herd people. Maybe they want to make them fearful of some asteroids coming in, or you know, all of these kind of things, and that's how they control people. So that's just the thing that's going on around this whole topic of shape of the earth. And when people ask why would they do such a thing, why would they tell us lies about the shape of the earth? Very simple, because illusions and lies don't make people strong for themselves, you see. Same with a man who cannot accept his physical truth, like the body. You see, when you look down on yourself, you know you're a man, but if you don't accept that truth, you get weak, and you would think all of a sudden that maybe you're a woman caught up in a man's body. And then all kinds of sickness comes from this, you see. And the same with the physical truth of earth. If people are being led into a lie, it's just a lot of weak people in the world that can easily be controlled, you know. And through the physical world, you can get a lot of truth, you see. So if you cannot accept the physical truth of something, or when we talk about physical matters, and people cannot admit that truth, then how should they know, or how should they understand something about spiritual truth, you know, if they cannot even understand the physical truth? You see. And that's also something that Jesus says in the Bible. I think he says it in this way, if I tell you about earthly things, how could you ever understand spiritual things if I tell you about spiritual things? Because spiritual things are very abstract, you know, and the physical world is much more grabbable. You can basically touch it. Everybody, or most people, perceive it with their eyes and with all of their senses. So, if people don't use their minds, their brains, their spirits to get to a physical truth, they are also prone to be deceived spiritually, just the way they are being deceived physically. And wait a minute, I have to cross the road. So there is physical deception, I mean, onto our eyes, visual deception. Okay? And how do the people deceive us? Through animations, through graphics, through film production. I mean, we live in a time right now where really anybody can just download an app or go to a website and create visual illusions. I mean, deep fakes and all of this kind of stuff. So if people were not on board with the truth before that, like with the shape of the earth, then how much will they be deceived now, even further, through not just politicians and these people, or it's not always just politicians. It's, I mean, if you think about NASA, there are many people that are not in politics, but they deceive the people. But now it's like anybody, any poor man sort of, can deceive people. You see, just by uploading visuals, graphics, and whatnot, and talk about ball Earth and flying to the moon and all of these kind of things. And they are on YouTube, for example, or they are on wherever, and they have these big channels. You know, they have millions of views, and these videos are being sucked up by the masses, and the people are completely being deceived through that. And oftentimes, I actually think that these creators themselves don't even know that they are telling lies to the people, because they just see the money, they just see the fame, oh, I made it on YouTube, I have so many followers, and all these kind of things. So they are also being blinded. And also something that Jesus says is, it's the blind leading the blind in this world. Because they themselves were just born into this. They probably really believe that the earth is a ball and this kind of thing. So now what you have is like elite people that created this whole lie for the masses. And then you have people that rise up through creating their own channels on YouTube or whatever, and they are just propagating this whole lie. You know, thinking that they are talking about the truth. And that's exactly what that verse means. It's the blind leading the blind in this world. And so it's very important to stay away from idolatry, which I also talk about a lot. To stop imitating people. You see? Because a tree, for example, in the woods, or wherever you have a tree, it doesn't imitate another tree, it just grows for itself. It's in his blood, sort of, if you will. One tree does not look at another tree and says, oh, you are so tall, one day I want to become tall like that. You see what I'm saying? Oh, you carry those fruits, one day I want to carry those fruits as well. Although you are actually an apple tree, other people or other trees are carrying pears, then you're wishing for something else. It's wishful thinking that actually is not in your, in your DNA, people say, or in your genes. So if people keep on imitating others, that's what just pushes this whole deceptive world forward. So they have to stop idolatry. They have to stop idolizing these people that they constantly see on TV. They have to stop idolizing the people that are on YouTube with a huge following, and they act like they're they are certified teachers. Who certified them? The same system that produced the lie. You see? So the lie of this ball, that's what I'm saying, of this heliocentric model. So I hope you could get away something from it. This is a shorter life than the other ones. I have to quit now. And you can rewatch it. You can also rewatch the other lives and my other video that I uploaded about rocket science. Will rocket science change the way we cook pasta? Of course not. I mean, rockets only fly to a certain altitude and then they explode way before they ever reach the moon. That's just a side note. You can watch the video if you want, if you're interested. And okay, bye.